collecting music and going to record stores. Oh, I must have been maybe 14 or 15. I used to ride my bike down to Glendale, and there was this record store called Rare Records. And I would go in there and oh my goodness. Not only did they have new records, they had used records. I mean, you could get records for $1 or for 25 cents, and sometimes I'd come back and have 10 records tied to my bike, and I traded in a lot of records. I could take these things and take them back, and I started collecting my Beatles stuff from Rare Records because they had imports. They had Beatle imports in the beginning, and then Rolling Stones, and the imports were a lot different than the American, and so I started collecting from them. And of course, for instruments, and well, records were $3 at the time I was collecting it. Rare Records, whereas if you went to Grayson's Toontown, records were like about $5. You also had Sound Experience in the 60s, which was down the street, and that was more hippie-ish. It was run by this hip guy named Richard. Ray Avery owned the Rare Records. And, Richard had, strobe lights in there and glowing posters, black lights, whatever, and he had the used record thing and carried the imports, and the atmosphere was interesting there. You also had further up from Glendale, these other two were in Glendale, further up by Glen Oaks was a place called Turning Point. Same idea, sort of a hippie type thing. I used to go there. And then there was a place in the valley, and the name escapes me, but it used to be on Ventura Boulevard. And you could go there, and they would have not the used records, but they just had international records and hard to find records. Maybe maybe by the same groups, the Beatles or whatever. They'd have French, Japanese, whatever, but I don't remember whether they had used or not. But I would go in there and get stuff I couldn't get anyplace else. Wish I could remember the name of the place.